In this video, we will create a Signup API so that user can register on our Amazon clone platform. So we have to go to our server folder and create a new file under routes. So go to server, routes, right click, create a new file and name it auth.js. This file will have signup and login API. We need to install two new libraries, which will be JSON Web Token and Bcrypt Node.js. Both are encryption library. But don't be confused by the second library. We will only use it to encrypt the user's password. So let's go ahead and install it. So make sure you are in the server folder and npm install JSON Web Token and Bcrypt Node.js -- save. Before we write the API, we have to extend our user schema by giving it an ability to encrypt the password. So go to models user.js and underneath here you want to type user schema.pre save and then function, which should be next as a callback. Oops, I'm used to writing arrow function, but we cannot write an arrow function here because we have to access this, which is the user itself. And then let user equals to this, and then if this modified password this dot is new, then Bcrypt, which we have to import first, const Bcrypt equals to require Bcrypt Node.js, and here dot Jane salt. The if else will check whether user's object is a newly created, which is .isNew, or the user's password has been modified or not. If either one is true, then we encrypt the password by calling the Bcrypt library that we just imported. So let's go step by step. Pre-save is technically means before saving the user's object to the database, please run this password encryption first, then only save the object. So before we want to save the user's object to the database, we want to run this operation first, then only save it to the database. The first part, which is this, it will generate a 10 long random characters. And then the second part is it will somehow mix the 10 long random characters with the user's password. For example, ABC123, and then it will output the hash. We can use the hash output and store it in user's password field. Next is technically just saying we are done with the operation. So let's move on. So now we have the pre-save function. When we sign up, when the user enter the password, it will actually generate a hash of that password instead of storing the text version of the password. So let's write the API. Go to auth.js and then you want to type const router as usual, require express router, and then const user. We have to import the models. Oops, not U, not capital U, but lowercase u, and then const JWT equals to require JSON Web Token so we can encrypt the user's object. So let's write a note up here, which will be signup route, and then router.post because we are posting to the server from the client later on, and then auth signup, and then a sing request and response error function if request.body.email or not request.body.password. So what it's saying is if request.body email is empty or password is empty, then we want to respond back to the user, which will say success, false, and then a message which would say please enter email or password. Else we want to do try and catch. We want to leverage on the async await combo. And in here we say new user equals to new user. And then new user.name equals to request.body.name. And then new user.email equals to request.body.email. And then new user.password equals to request.body.password. And then await new user.save. So when we store the password, when we run the new user.save, it will go to the pre-save function and then it will generate the hash and store it in the password. And once we save the user's object, we want to encrypt the user's object into a JSON web token. So let token equals to JWT sign new user to JSON. You have to convert into a JSON format, and then we have to pass a secret key, but we want to save it in somewhere secure. So let's go to our .env, and down here you want to type secret and then equals to whatever you want to put. Like I'm just gonna put random number like this, random characters like this. Save this, go back to off.js, and then you want to type process.env, not proves but process env secret, and then we want to say how long it will expire. So we're just gonna say expires in 1 week, so equivalent to 604,800, which should be 1 week. And then once we encrypted the user's object, we want to respond, which will say success true, and then we want to respond back the token and a message successfully created a new user. If there's an error, then we want to return error. So we go to any of these routes category and just copy res.status 500 and go back to off.js and just paste it here. And finally, you want to export this router, and then we want to register it in our app.use, which is in server.js. Down here, cons user routes equals to require routes user, and then we want to copy this app.use API, which will be user routes. Save this, and let's go back to our off.js. So I just want to explain it again. What is happening is that we first check if the body of the email or password is empty or not. If it is, then we want to respond with please enter email or password. Else, if the user did enter the email and password, we want to create a new user's object and save the object to the database. This is the part where we encrypt the user's object to become a JSON web token, and then we respond with the token as well. Let's test the API. So let's go to Postman, and you want to open a new tab and change this to post, change it to localhost 3000 API of sign up. And you want to go to body and make sure you click this part, URL encoded, and enter name, which will be Harry Potter, and then email will be harrypotter@gmail.com, and password will be I love Hermione. And let's send. Could not get any response because we haven't started the server yet, so let's go and start the server first. Node server.js, and we get an error that says cannot find model thing. I misspelled it. So let's go to user.js and let's change this to cannot find model routes user. Oh, another error. So let's change this to auth instead. I made 2 new mistakes and now it is working. So let's go back to our Postman and send this post request successfully created. So as you can see, this is the token. We managed to encrypt the user's object into a JSON web token. It is working now. We have successfully created the Signup API. In the next video, we will create a new middleware to validate this JSON web token and convert it back to its original state. I'll see you guys in the next video.